This is the design I've been thinking about the past week. It's a design to celebrate Pope John the 23rd. It just came to my attention that he is going to become Saint John the 23rd, and that got me very excited. And it was a conversation I had in North Dakota that made me realize that, in a sense, I already created his sculpture. And if you can, Tony, if you can bring the camera over here. Years ago I created what was one of my, I feel one of my most exciting sculptures. It was a Last Supper, and I decided that I wanted to do a Last Supper. And a little bit intimidated because you have the Da Vinci Last Supper. And so when an artist comes to do something that's been done so many times and so well, it's hard to find something that to really add to the whole history of that subject matter in art. I believe this sculpture did. You can see here there's different locations right now across the United States where this sculpture is permanently on display. What I did was I created a Last Supper that had 12 empty seats, suggesting that we have to become the apostles of Christ today. And so at each location it's displayed. One has, when it's empty, one has kind of the sense of a calling. One wants to sit down and fill up these seats. When it's filled with children or people, it just basically is like sculpture coming to life. It's very exciting. So the sculpture is meant to be filled with real people. It's meant to be a living sculpture. In a sense, it's meant to be a spot where the community also can gather together as a meeting space in the presence of the sculpture of Jesus there. So I thought it was a very interesting twist on the Last Supper. It's something that I could add, and something that will make people look again with fresh eyes at such a traditional subject matter as the Last Supper. And so here I am today, 7-8 years after I created the Last Supper, realizing that Pope John the 23rd is becoming a saint. And I thought, if you can look over here, that the best thing I could do was borrow from my own creativity to basically celebrate John the 23rd, because it was John the 23rd that said that we have to become apostles of Christ today. And this is all what this sculpture, this is all what this installation says. So if you imagine, very similar to the Last Suppers I created, the very traditional Jesus on the horizontal format in the center of the table. And there you have John the 23rd at the side with his one hand gesturing for you to take a seat. And it's like, if it had a message before, it's only reinforced and celebrated with John the 23rd. So I'm very excited about this, this basic addition to what I consider one of the great sculptures that I created in the past. And nowadays when I'm creating sculptures for saints, I usually think, well, how would that saint want to be represented? And for the first time in 20 years of sculpting, I'm really conscious about how the specific saint would like themselves to be represented. And I truly believe that having this eternal, permanent representation of such a strong message that John the 23rd wanted to present throughout his life, to continue throughout the years, is something that he would really be proud of, and he himself would probably want to sit down here on this sculpture. Thanks.